kind of want to begin this episode like the History Chicks. Do y'all listen to the History Chicks? You should. Here it goes. In 1913, the British steamship Calvados disappears into the Sea of Marmara without a trace. Woodrow Wilson becomes the 28th President of the United States. Construction is completed on the Panama Canal. A peace treaty is signed ending the First Balkan War. An inventor named Mary Phelps Jacob invents the bra using 2 handkerchiefs and a pink ribbon. And Amrita Sher-Gil is born. The daughter of an Indian aristocrat and a Hungarian opera singer. This is Amrita Sher-Gil. So, I should say, Amrita and her sister Indira seem like they were artistic child geniuses. Amrita started formal painting lessons at the age of 8, and she'd apparently make servants in her household model for her. Both Amrita and Indira were playing violin and piano in concerts in Shimla by the time Amrita was only 9. So it's not a huge surprise that not only did Amrita grow up to become one of India's most celebrated artists, but one of the greatest avant-garde women in the 20th century. Stop! Wait, Heather! Why are you centering an artist when the whole project is to center models? Because Amrita was her own model. And yes, before you say it, Amrita Sher-Gil does remind a lot of people of Frida Kahlo. It's like almost a creepy coincidence. They're contemporaries, but in whole different countries, on whole different continents. But they're both interested in painting people of color. They're both interested in expressing femininity and melancholy. They're both iconic women artists in a male-dominated art world. And they both have incredible eyebrows. Back to Amrita. Here's one of her self-portraits I find quite interesting. Self-portrait as a Tahitian.
Good morning, blue.
Amrita became fascinated with the works of Paul Gauguin. And as I mentioned in the episode about Jane Avril and Toulouse-Lautrec, Gauguin is a member of the Post-Impressionists. And you can definitely see the Post-Impressionist influence on Sher-Gil's work. Remember, it's the same concept as Impressionism, but with more vibrant colors and more geometric, almost blocky forms. But Gauguin was also obsessed with painting women in Tahiti. Problematically so. We will circle back at some point. But it's here, looking at Gauguin's work, that Amrita Sher-Gil is inspired to create a catalog of non-Western bodies of her own. So even though Amrita had grown up in a privileged household, she even got into some pretty great rich kid trouble. When she got expelled from her convent school after announcing that she was an atheist. That's awesome. You gotta admit that's awesome. So, even though privileged upbringing, she was artistically attracted to painting the poor. When she wasn't painting self-portraits, she was painting Indian villagers and women. Her paintings of women are particularly fascinating. She has no desire to sexualize them, as several visual artists do, as Amrita herself chose to do in painting self-portrait as a Tahitian. Instead, her paintings are an honest depiction of the human condition. She had incredible empathy as an artist. 3 Sisters, 1935. One of my favorites, The Child Bride, 1936. But I always return to the self-portraits. They describe Amrita's many moods. Seductive and exuberant. Elegant and wary. These self-portraits create a full woman in history for me. Amrita died when she was 28 years old. While the cause of her death has never been officially ascertained, it is suspected she became ill from complications after a failed abortion, slipped into a coma, and never came back. Here's how she left herself behind.